Hello, everyone. My name is Kyla Brewer, and I'm your host today. Today, we're going to be going around town interviewing a bunch of different teachers that we find to find out what their philosophy of education is. So, what we're going to do is ask them a variety of questions that are going to build up to finding out what their philosophy is, and in the end, we're going to put it together and figure it out for them. All right, let's go find some teachers. Come on. I think there's one in here. Oh my goodness. Hello, are you a teacher by any chance?
I am.
Oh my goodness. What's your name and where are you from? What do you teach?
My name is Miss Delaney. I am a freshman English teacher at Spencer High School.
We already found one teacher. We're off to a good start. Let's go look for another one. Oh my goodness. I think I found one. Hello, sir. What's your name?
I'm Mr. Dan Grau. How are you?
Good. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself? What do you teach? Where are you from?
Yeah, I'm a high school science teacher. I'm from Lawton, Iowa. It's not too far from here. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, we're still looking for some more teachers. Let's go ahead and look. Hi, you don't happen to be a teacher by any chance, do you?
Actually, I am.
Oh my goodness, we found another one. Well, what kind of teacher are you? Where are you from?
I'm a high school art teacher from Broken Bow, Nebraska. My name is Roberta Barnes.
Alrighty, we're 3 teachers down. Let's go look for our last one to finish out our interviews. I'm not really seeing any. Hi, sir. Are you a teacher by any chance?
I am. My name is Mike Boker. I'm a high school history teacher for Millard West High School.
Oh, awesome. What are your most important learning goals for your students, and why do you believe those goals are so important?
The most important learning goals, in my opinion, are the foundational skills. For my freshman English class, I think the most important goals are learning the writing process. It is important for my students to understand the writing process so that when they get to higher level classes, they can succeed. Reading skills are also very important, not just knowing how to read, but being able to understand what you read. There's also a social emotional piece that I believe is very important. I care a lot about how we grow as humans and want to make sure everyone feels safe and has a voice in my classroom.
What do you emphasize most in your curriculum?
The part of curriculum I emphasize the most is creating a foundation to build upon for the future. If a child cannot have a solid foundation, they won't be able to advance to harder classwork in the future.
What is the primary teaching method that you use, and why do you use it?
The primary teaching method that I typically use is progressivism and choices and inquiry because I want my students to be able to make their own decisions with my guidance. I want them to be able to problem solve on their own, but still have those choices and feel like they are involved in what we're learning.
How do you assess student learning?
I like to assess student learning a couple different ways. Tests and quizzes are always great. However, asking questions during class and seeing how students respond if they can answer correctly is a good way to check for understanding. Another good way is to do literal checks of assignments and worksheets.
What are your major classroom management goals, and how do you implement them into your classroom?
My major classroom management goal is just to teach kids how to be kind humans and be respectful to each other. I do not tolerate disrespect in my classroom, and I really try to model and nurture the kind of relationships that I want my students to have and the interactions that I want them to have with each other. I want everyone to feel safe in my classroom, and I want them to be able to express themselves. I want my students to have an open and honest conversations with me in order to help keep my classroom under control. I also want to instill confidence in all my students so that they are able to have those conversations with me and with other students as well.
What would you say is your major role as being a teacher and educator?
In my classroom, my major role as a teacher is to be a guide and a cheerleader for them. I am there to guide them and help them give hints to the answers, but ultimately let them problem solve it on their own. And then just cheerleading them and supporting them along the way and giving them that encouragement to just keep going and get those answers no matter what.
What educational philosophy best suits you in your teaching?
I believe that I use the progressivist philosophy. I like to ask my students questions and have them answer them on their own. I like to be more of a guide for my students to learn so that they can learn to problem solve on their own. I also care very deeply about the individual growth of students. I think that I use the cognitivist philosophy. I like to give my students some choice in what we are doing and want them to be self-motivated. I try and build positive, trusting relationships with all students.
I personally use the progressivist philosophy. I try to be real with students and not to sugarcoat anything. I want the students to find answers for themselves. I am just here to be a guide for them for their future. Students should be able to grow into one thing for themselves.
I'm a progressivist in my education philosophy because I want students to be able to develop on their own and have the basic skills like problem solving and good choice making to just be able to be on their own. I believe in content as well as any other teacher, but I believe mainly in the fact that developing those basic skills of problem solving and just inquiry and just asking questions and be able to be their own person and just be able to answer questions for themselves someday.
I align most with the progressivist philosophy. I believe in real world problem solving, and I believe that the things I teach in class should apply to students in the real world, otherwise, there's no reason to teach them. I also want students to have a mindset to problem solve for their future careers.
All right, well, that wraps up our interviews for today. I hope you guys learned a lot about teachers and their educational philosophies and how they implement those into their classrooms. I'll see you guys next time.